Welcome to the FaceTime with God podcast. I'm your host, Kay Farrar, and yes, you have tuned in to the right place because we're bringing Christ to the culture and the culture to Christ because the gospel's not for old times, it's for all times. So we've got relevant topics, real people, and we're starting right now. So welcome to another episode of FaceTime with God.
I appreciate
Perky Perkins. I love that.
Don't sleep on it.
I love that. So with that, we're going to do a little fun intro.
Okay.
So we usually, just do a little icebreaker or whatever the case may be. But I thought this would be kind of cool for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you these characters and I want you to maybe hold each one of them up so they can get them good on the camera.
Okay.
And then so Mia helped me figure out who he was. His name is Zuma.
From
Paw
Patrol.
Mm-hmm. And so characteristics about him is that he is happy and playful and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Energetic, happy, and playful. All right. And so that blue one should just be regular Care Bear. That's what he's holding for.
Okay, gotcha.
And then you have your Wonder Woman. So if you had to pick one of those to identify with, and you could only pick one,
I can only pick one.
Which one would you say is more like who you are?
I would. Now, it depends on the day.
Okay.
But today, I would say I'm more like this Care Bear.
Oh.
Because most days, I'm always making sure that everybody is okay.
Wow.
And showing a little love however I can.
Wow.
So I think I'll go with the Care Bear.
You're going to go with the Care Bear.
Yes, ma'am.
And you said today. So today. You said most days.
Because I can be all of them at the same time.
Well, Perky Perkins, I was thinking maybe, Zuma with the Perky Perkins, but I understand. And, I was reading a piece that I took a photo on my phone and I'm going to go back to it.
Okay.
And I could see the Care Bear for you. Now, this was something that you did with Raising Resilience.
Yes, ma'am.
If I'm saying that correctly.
I'm
just going to read an excerpt.
Okay.
And it says, this is so awesome. It says, as many natural-born healers find themselves, Perkins entered the field of education determined to help. Her passion for working with students blossomed when she joined Communities in Schools, a national nonprofit organization centered around school-based student support. And then it just went on to talk so much about, the vital impact of relationships and connection.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So tell us a little bit more about this journey you've been on with students. How long have you been working with students?
So not to date myself, but I have been working with kids all of my life.
Okay.
I am the oldest sibling.
Okay.
The only sister.
Wow.
The oldest cousin.
Oh my God.
So I have always been in the position of making sure that everybody is okay. And then I transitioned, I believe it was when I started my first job when I was in 11th grade in high school. And that was at KinderCare.
Wow.
Kingdom Care. And I started working with children then, and I've been in the field ever since in different capacities.
Okay, and you said the oldest sibling. So how many of you are there?
So it's 4 of us.
Okay.
We just recently lost one of my brothers.
Sorry to
Thank
hear
you.
That. So sorry.
But it's 4 of us.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All boys. So
3 boys and me.
So you had to keep those boys in order.
You think I did? And I did.
I bet you did.
Yes,
did
ma'am.
you pass out the chores and everything?
I normally did the chores. I was the one doing the chores to make sure everybody else was good. But those younger 2, they grew up a little different.
Okay.
Me and my oldest brother. We was raised in the first set. By the time
it wears off a little bit.
That second set was raised a little different.
Wow. What were Sundays like at your house?
So Sundays, pretty much family oriented. We go go to church on Saturday.
Okay.
So Saturdays were always, ever since I can remember, unless I was deathly sick, we found ourselves in the service of the Lord.
Okay.
But on Sundays, we definitely, like I remember back in the day, my dad used to make cheese, eggs, and cream of wheat.
Wow.
And with the little fixings, and we spent some time together. We done some fishing. We used to ride bikes together.
Fishing too?
Yes.
Okay. You know how to fish.
Can I cast it into the water? Yes. Can I reel it back in?
With something on it?
Not all the time, but I try my best.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you go down, like to Norfolk or
No, so we had a family friend that had a little pier. And so we used to go down there back when I was younger.
All right. Are you originally from Richmond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All my life.
All right. What schools did you go through?
So I attended Highland Springs Elementary School.
Springus?
And then elementary school, yes, ma'am. And then we transitioned to Verona. So then I went to John Rolfe. And I graduated with the Verona Blue Devils. And then I attended VCU.
All right.
Yes,
VCU.
ma'am.
So what was your major?
Psychology.
All right. And if you don't stop calling me yes, ma'am.
It's in my heart. I can't help it.
It's all good. Listen. So you said psychology.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. It's been a minute since I've talked to somebody with a psychology major.
Yes, ma'am.
So you do all those, look, Mia. I was like, Mia was like, me. But so you do all of those assessments with people or no?
So I do not do the assessments. I just, I didn't go that route with psychology, but I can read people and unofficially. I can tell you what page to go to for that. Yeah, but I can't say it out my mouth.
So look, I always was interested in like they'll show you them crazy pictures, like the ink. Do they still do that stuff now?
They do that.
What in the world is the ink thing? Because you know what? I'm liable to tell you anything.
I know that's right. And I believe that anything is always the answer because everybody sees and feels something different. Yes, ma'am.
I have to do some of these assessments just for fun.
Yeah, I know that's right. That's to see where we land.
Yeah, exactly. So how does this all play in today? I know some of the information I was reading, you were talking about the fact that because you're a director now.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you're a little bit removed from actually hands-on with the kids. What do you like most? Being in the position that you are now or being more hands-on?
I feel that in this position, I still have the ability to be hands-on because I can get to a school anytime I want to.
Okay.
And I still have the relationships because I have spent most of my work concentrated in Northside. I still know the families. Okay. I'm still able to connect and reach out. But I think my biggest, what I like most recently is, even though I'm working with adults, they're just like my extended family. So, just making sure that they have what they need to make sure the kids have what they need I'm still impacting the children.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about that role when you're working with the adults. Like what are you guys doing on a day-to-day basis?
So the site coordinators in the building, the short end of the stick is we say anything that a student needs to be successful in school. If we can't do it, we find resources and partners to make sure that the student and their family is successful.
Okay.
Communities in Schools is originally a dropout prevention program, but we know that starts before you get to high school.
Okay.
You have to have that mindset to stay in school early. So we do a lot of stuff towards making sure that kids know that school is a place where they feeling like a school is a place where they want to be, creating atmospheres, programs, initiatives, family events to make sure that everybody is included in their circle and feel a part of their journey as they go through school.
Okay, and I'm just going through some of what you said. So what are some of the programs like that you guys?
So we do a lot of family engagement nights. So we may do like movie nights. We do attendance incentives to incentivize kids to come to school. Okay. But the biggest thing we do is make sure that kids have a safe place and a safe face in the building. So our site staff is one of those people that children can connect to and build those relationships. Because when you have a relationship with somebody at school, it makes a big difference where you can feel like you can talk to somebody about what's going on, or you have just a safe place and a safe person.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're only in, is it middle and high, or are you in elementary?
No, so I'm in 11 schools now, ranging from elementary to high school.
Elementary too?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you guys at Chamberlain Elementary by
Chamberlain, no.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
You're only in the city?
We do have some Henrico schools, but we haven't expanded to Chamberlain yet. Yes, ma'am.
We just recently adopted Chamberlain.
Okay.
I'm so excited about it.
I know that's right.
I mean, I'm serious. I really am. It is a wonderful school, too. It really is.
You know, a lot of our schools get a lot of slack and a lot of negative press. But once you get into the doors and you see the kids and you see the smiles on their faces, we realize that we work with some of the most resilient kids ever.
Yeah.
And all they need is a chance.
You know, it's so funny because so I was a substitute teacher for a while.
Okay.
And of course, substituting is not, every day.
Yes, ma'am.
Although if you want to every day, you can.
These days, you sure can.
Yeah. And it was so funny because when I was subbing, somehow or another, I got friends with the people or they got friends, whatever. Because, you're supposed to go on the computer and it'll tell, it'll give you, it checks you or whatever, tell you, what's available. You go back and forth. Child, they would pick up, they would call
I know
me.
That's right. That's
so
what they do with the
and
substitute.
Look, and then I would be like, you got any art today? Child, I feel like, I said, you got any PE?
I know
so I would just go wherever, whatever I wanted to do that day. Ma'am. And I saw a lot. I saw a lot of stuff. Yeah. I also, did Boys and Girls Club. Okay. So I was a counselor at Martin Luther King. Okay. Before the new school. Yeah. Before all the teachers walked out. Wow. I don't know if you remember. It was something over there.
Really?
It was. And it's interesting to me because when you were talking about the kids, I'm just kind of going back in my mind of, like what my perception of my experience was. And I think I was more on the kids' side. This is kind of like what you were saying.
Yeah.
Because I remember once, I won't call the name, when I was subbing, I would get a little angry with some of the stuff I saw. One class packed. I feel like it's probably 30 kids in that class.
Wow.
So, of course, it was 2 and 3, adults going in and out doing different things with them. But I was shocked because they were giving the kids packets. They didn't have, it's not like back in my day, they write on the board and you got your book and everybody turned to page so-and-so. That was our homework and we review the homework and then they teach a new lesson and then you practice your new lesson or whatever. They would just had paper staple and they were giving out packets to the kids. Yeah. Then one little child raised their hand. So most of the kids were not paying attention to any of the packets.
I can imagine.
But there was one young lady, she raised her hand. She had a question about the packet. The lady was like, it's on your paper. They came in the class hollering at the kids. And I understand sometimes your nerves. If did you make they just, which I understand because I'm as a sub, so I know I'm coming and going. Yeah. But at some point, we gotta, are we gonna teach are we gonna try? I had one time, I won't call the school. I know the school. Yeah. Won't call the school. It was a middle school. And so working with the kids, this middle school now. And so one young lady, she's sitting all by herself. So I go, and I look at the assignment, whatever. And so I could tell she had difficulty reading. Yeah. So I just was sounding out the word and then she would say it. And, they came and stopped me. No, we don't work with her. We don't, no. She's to be by herself. Wow. And in my mind, and you could tell the child had something. So I'm thinking, what kind of trauma has this child been through? But then, because they don't connect with everybody, but we was having a fine time and she was saying the words and we would, the different rules and regulations. How do you help people navigate some of all this stuff like we're talking about that happens in the schools? Because again, it's not always the kids. A lot of times it's the system. Yeah. A lot of times it's the teachers can be just at their wits' end and they can't take another nothing. Yeah. How do we go through all of that and get to the kids and get some results?
It boils down to the advocacy and relationships. Okay. One, having a relationship with the kids makes a big difference because you're able to get their side of the story and connect with them and see exactly what's going on their level. However, you have to multitask because you also have to have relationships with the key players in the school building so that when these type of situations arise, you're a trusted adult with the information that sometimes a lot of the principals principals don't always have a chance to see because, their roles are big.
Yeah.
And so, we fall into that role of advocacy in that aspect of making sure that we are in the spaces to communicate what we see in the needs of our students.
Yeah, and I like that advocacy.
Yes, ma'am. On a day-to-day basis.
So what does that look like with the children? Like if somebody has, let's just say, have you ever seen a situation like the one I just said where they said don't?
Oh, all the time.
Tell me about that. What?
All the time. So I can speak from a personal experience where I had a student who I would consider to be labeled as a behavior challenge.
Okay.
And because he was labeled as a behavior challenge, a lot of people didn't interact with him fully.
Okay.
However, he did have me and a few other people, that he could connect with and come have conversations with.
Okay.
And there was a time when he got into an altercation with an admin in the building.
Okay.
And the admin took it way too far and actually put him out the school building and told him to find a way to get home.
Wow.
During the middle of the day.
Yeah, we can't do that. And what age was he?
This was in high school.
Okay.
But he was underage, so not to the point where he couldn't. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And you didn't call his mama either. So that's when the advocacy piece steps in. I was over here. Do we think that we need to call the student's mom so that she can come down? Because we can't just put him out the building and tell him to go home. Yeah.
That's something.
It is something, but it happens. Just as adults have challenges and situations that they face, and we as adults struggle, with making sure that we're making the best decisions. We always don't get it right, and these kids are not going to always get it right. So just having a little extra grace when it comes to managing and communicating with them makes a difference.
So I can see you're doing an amazing job.
Care Bear.
That Care Bear. Let me get that Care Bear.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Oh my gosh. So how do you navigate all this? Because you don't work for the school, but I guess they're just like so thankful for the help.
Yes, ma'am.
Do y'all just kind of go wherever is needed?
So no, we do have MOUs and partnerships with our school districts. And so we go to schools where they, we know we can support, and for those that typically ask of us. But we are a nonprofit organization, so we're not directly in the school. But we are a partner of the school. So it is difficult sometimes with navigating that I'm a guest in the building, but I have this big piece of information that you need to know. And it's really a balance of working in between the two and making sure that we have site staff that's able to do that balance, making sure that we're there for the kids and also advocating for them as well.
I'm going to tell you about something that's in my heart to do. And it is not so much a direct, so schools is really, really, really my passion and students, right? And I want to find a way to help. So like I said, we recently adopted Chamberlain, which is awesome. And so just getting a relationship started with them and helping them with whatever they need.
Yes, ma'am.
Is cool. Honestly, one day I want to have my own school. I don't know how that would happen, but I do. But in the interim, right, one of the things I want to do is help programmatically and systematically wherever possible, kind of like what you guys are doing, but you have to fill a void, right? You got to have something to offer that's needed, right? So that's kind of like my entryway.
Okay.
And so, but what I'm getting ready to share with you is that we launched an effort to get started on something I'm calling certified grandparent.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And what I'm thinking about is a little bit from my experience subbing, you know, in Boys and Girls Club, different things. I also helped head up a governor's initiative back in the day that was called Partnership for Achieving Successful Schools.
Okay.
So all of those things I've learned and experienced different things. But one of the things I know is that our current generation of moms and dads sometimes are so far removed from standard ways of parenting like that we grew up with that sometimes they're not as active, they're not as engaged.
Yeah.
And so it's the grandparents a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times that are really making sure the kids, get the structure and the follow-up and that traditional parenting like that we were used to. But they need some skills and that kind of thing. And, I see the schools struggling with parental involvement.
Yes.
Because a lot of stuff, if the parents were doing it and if they were getting it at home, they wouldn't come to school looking for things that the school really is not equipped to do.
Exactly.
Our first guest is now on the school board for Henrico. And I will never forget. He probably might want me to forget it because I re-quoted a lot. But his quote was, kids who are loved come to school to learn. Kids who are not come to school for love.
Wow.
And that's the wrong place, right? Because either you're going to try, sometimes they act out just because they want somebody's attention, or they get in with the wrong club or group or whatever. Because again, they're looking for acceptance. They're looking for love.
Hey fam, here's some more good news. Romans 10:13 says, whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. That means delivered from danger, rescued, protected, preserved, so that you would do well and be made whole. If you've never prayed this prayer, if you want to just confess it again, join us as we pray. Lord Jesus, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. I believe you died for me and paid the penalty for all my sins. I know I've not done everything right, but that's why I'm calling on you to save me, to wash me in your blood, to forgive me for all of my shortcomings, to make me whole again from the inside out. I will walk with you. I will follow you. I thank you for showing me through your word and by your spirit how I need to walk, how I need to live before you. Lord, I thank you for removing any blockage in my mind, in my environment. Lord, I thank you for sending your angels to protect me and to lead me in the way that I should go. According to Romans 10:13, I am saved. If you prayed that prayer, the angels in heaven are rejoicing, and so are we. Write "I'm saved" in the comments so we can celebrate with you. Get connected with some strong, balanced Bible believers in your area who can help disciple you. Talk to the Lord every day about your decisions and check out our video, The Greatest Superhero.